CoinGeek week day 3. Thank you for joining us, Stephan Nilsson.
Thank you.
From Unisot. So you gave a presentation that I was not expecting to see at this conference, and it actually very much excited me, and it fits in the theme that we've been talking about all week of people thinking big about Bitcoin. Your presentation is about supply chains and blockchains.
Yeah.
Can you maybe just talk about what does Unisot do, and what's your vision for using blockchain as a ledger?
Yeah, so my background is I've been working 20 years in SAP. And SAP is an ERP system, as was talked about here. It's ERP system is the back-end system of which all big companies are using, like Shell, Oil, Hydro, all this big international corporation. Their back-end system is an ERP system. And SAP is the biggest one of them. And that's what I've been working with for 20 years. So I've seen, and my expertise there is to integrate SAP with other external systems, to banks, to warehouse systems, and other systems that you have to send your invoices or send your orders and so on. So EDI is the name for it, as Craig was talking about. And I've seen that we are doing the same thing all over again. For every new company I come to, we do the same kind of integration. So that is, I have found out that in supply chains today in the world, or actually if I start from the beginning, is that in the world today, the efficiency of the world is based on our supply chains, because supply chain is everything. And with everything, I mean everything we wear, everything we eat, everything we own, computers, phone, everything that you haven't grown in your garden or created in your garage comes from a supply chain. Someone produce it, someone owns, and then you transport it, and then it's at a retailer, and then you buy it and then you use it. And that is a supply chain. And today, the efficiency of a supply chain today is only 20%. And that is the top in Japan. Even Germany, who is very good in Europe, is down on 18% efficiency of a whole supply chain. So that means that we have more or less 80% of waste of money, waste of resources in our supply chains. So that's why actually the world economy is stagnating, because we can't do more with our old technology. We can't get any more effective in the companies. So, and then I've been working with SAP for a long time, and then I read Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper in 2011 or 12. And it just blew my mind to have this decentralized system where you can remove all middle part that is not actually adding any value to a supply chain or to anything. But if we then combine this centralized ERP system for one company, doing all the business process very efficiently, but different company together, they are having big problems to communicate. So we have a lack of accurate information. It takes a long time for information to flow. And that is why it's so inefficient. So what I see is just that if we combine these very good centralized systems with a very good decentralized, what we then call universal source of truth. So one database for all companies. Works like one central database logically, but of course we are using blockchain, which is decentralized. So now companies can communicate with each other, send information back and forth in a very efficient way, which makes that we can have a lot of different applications built on top on blockchain that we can use for companies. So like global traceability. So when I buy a product, I can just scan a barcode or a QR code, and I can then get information from all the steps that this product has gone through. So because I'm living in Norway, and I'm working then with the fish industry, so that's our first use case, but not the only one. It's just our first use case, because if we can solve the problems in the fish supply chain, we can just take that solution and put it into a shoe manufacturer or a car manufacturer or whatever supply chain we like. But what we do now in the fishing industry, that we can now follow from fish eggs to small fish until we put them out in the sea. When we fish them up, then we can follow each step. How much food have they got? What was the water temperatures? How was the fish treated? What was the ecological footprint and everything? And then follow in the factory in the whole way until the end consumers. And when you are standing in the shop and you have 2 fish packages, the only thing you have today is the best before date and the price to try to find out which is the best one for me. But if we have our global traceability, we can just have a barcode or a QR code where you can scan with your mobile phone, and then you can get all the information about this fish, how old it is, has it been refrigerated the whole way, and how was it treated and everything. And that is a very good tool also for we see this from 2 ways, because it's a good tool for the consumers. We give the power to the consumers to actually be able to choose what product they like, because now they get information on which one is best. But we also give power to the producers, because if you have a good product, you can now prove it. And by that, you can also sell a premium product for a premium price. And as a consumer, you can select the one you like best, if you like a cheaper one or you like a premium one.
And this is kind of continuing along the theme of the conference as well, where Bitcoin is starting to be looked at as, the whole theme was that Bitcoin is a commodity ledger. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So while the past 10 years it is a revolutionary payment system, but really what you're talking about is completely revolutionizing the way that we even interact with data, especially as things move along the supply chain. Right?
Yes, exactly.
And in the case of the fish example, what I found very interesting is it kind of points to while the fish example is very good, right? So you can take it from, you even mentioned the cameras to scan.
Yeah. I'm a little bit famous now for the fish facial recognition system. It's not our product. It's another Norwegian company has made this product, where you actually do. It's not just the face, but you actually have cameras. The fish swims through a pipe where you have cameras, you have ultraviolet light and everything, and so you can analyze the fish and actually identify a fish. And not only identify, but you can also estimate the size or measure the size and estimate the weight and everything. And you can see if they have any damages or if they are sick or something. And so that gives us the possibility to identify one specific fish from the water and then all the way through the supply chain. So you could actually identify the fish you have on the table. And I have another very interesting thing that I'm working together with another company in Norway, who is actually making a product which you put a specific protein in the fish food, which with a small marker, and it's totally ecologic and good for the fish. But what you can do actually is you can scan the meat or the fillet of the fish. And by scanning that, you can get an identity, not of the fish, but the whole batch where they have been grown.
Wow.
So then we don't even need QR codes anymore. So this is a brand new technology that is being developed now. And that could work for fish, that could work for chicken or meat or whatever biologic food that we have, more or less.
That's
So
really
just
interesting.
take a picture of the food and you can identify where it came from, how old it is, how it is treated, and all that. So it's really amazing.
When you're talking about all this crazy stuff, usually from a business perspective, you're always like, okay, well, what's the price of it? And in this case, it's actually cost efficient now as well, which is the biggest sell, I think, for businesses.
Exactly. Because by using an open public blockchain like Bitcoin is 10 to 100 times cheaper, 10 to 100 times more efficient, 10 to 100 times more secure. So the business case for any business that are looking to save costs and make it more efficient and better, you have to be stupid not to take this offer, because no, you can go with a private blockchain, and then you have to pay a company to set this blockchain up, and you have 4 nodes, and you are stuck with that company forever. No, I think we should use an open public blockchain, just like everybody is using an open public internet today. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people say, we don't want to put our secret information in a public blockchain. But it's exactly the same as, because all companies today are using internet to communicate. Banks, military, everything use internet to communicate. But you are encrypting all your information. I have VPN tunnels and so. We do the same in blockchain. We put the information in blockchain, but of course we encrypt it. And that also means that I own my information in the blockchain, and I just share the keys to the people or to the companies I want to share the information with. Mm-hmm. And with these keys, I have full control of the information. If I then want to retract the key, you can no longer read the information or access the information. And I can just throw it away, the key, and then the information is more or less, it's gone. Nobody can ever access it.
Well, this is relevant because we were just actually talking about this with Dr. Wright, is that this actually is better because you're not going through these third parties that could have data leaks, that could be hacked or anything like that, right?
Yeah. All third parties that are not adding a value, an actual value, is not needed anymore.
Yeah.
And this is what I read in the white paper 10 years or 8 years ago. And now we can actually do this in an industrial way in supply chain. So my idea is that to get adoption to blockchain, onto Bitcoin blockchain, is the way to attract the industry.
And maybe that's a good question. I mean, as a company, was there ever a question about using Bitcoin or some other blockchain? Did you explore why Bitcoin is more beneficial, or?
I started with Bitcoin just because that was the first one. But of course, I looked into Ethereum because I wanted to do smart contracts and tokens and all of that. But found out that, first of all, it's very unsecure. Mm-hmm. We have a number of hacks the last years. And it is not scalable, not enterprise scalable. So it's a no for me. We are building an enterprise product. It has to scale, it has to be secure. And of course, I started developing in Bitcoin Core on that time, or the only one Bitcoin that there were. Mm-hmm. But we actually stopped developing in 1 year before the fork because it was too slow, too expensive, and it didn't work in an enterprise environment.
Yeah.
So I was super happy when we got Bitcoin Cash, because now we were back to the original Bitcoin again, which cheap transactions, secure transaction, instant transactions. It's exactly what we need. So,
yeah. How important is a stable protocol to you as a business and what you're doing?
It's everything. We must have an absolute stable protocol. Just like internet, it should be a not dumb protocol, but it should be a very, very basic, simple protocol that works and scales and is secure. And then we build application upon that.
Yeah. So I guess just generally, this conference, what has excited you the most about being here at this conference? And obviously Bitcoin itself is in a very interesting time right now.
Very interesting, yeah.
What has excited you coming into this conference, and what have you seen here that really excites you the most?
Yeah, it is actually to meet all these people and just to feel the energy here, because everybody is in the same mode as I have always am, and it's like there is a feeling all the time here that we are actually trying to make the world better. We're trying to do what other people think is. When I describe this for many people, they say, you are crazy, you can never do that. But actually, we have a possibility to do it now. We have a system that works. We have all the tools to make a better world business-wise, but also for a lot of people in the world. As we see all the 4 or 5 billion people on the earth that are not in the financial system. Or even, I got this number not so long time ago, that even in Europe, we have 40 million people outside of the economical system. In Europe. So that's blown my mind.
Yeah.
If we can include them in this system, and that's what we can do now. From my side, we start with the industrial side, but inside a supply chain, you have humans. People are working, and they want to have salaries. So, of course, the first years we will have to exchange back and forth from fiat money to our internal crypto. But I see in a couple of years that more and more companies will be able to pay their salaries in Bitcoin or cryptos.
Yeah.
And then we can actually really help the world.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I really, I loved your talk. I thought it was great. So thanks for coming on and talking to us about this.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate you.
Looking forward to seeing what's next for you guys as well.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.